I personally feel that messing up those three mocks was actually one of the most serendipitously negatively positive thing that happened for my entire preparation, because that kept me on my toes on the final day. And on the final day, I was on a mission to prove my streak of bad mocks wrong.
I'm an economics graduate from SRCC, University of Delhi. Post that, in my final year, I decided to give CAT and I scored 99.59 percentile in it. Post which I got admission at IIMA, and now I'm in my second year.
I am a computer science graduate from BITS Pilani, post which I worked with Morgan Stanley for 3 years. After that, I joined IIMA last year. I got a 99.84 percentile. The reason I decided to go for MBA was that post 3 years of work experience, I think after a year and a half, I started realizing that this can't be my end game. I loved coding, but then as and when you progress in your career ahead, I think your responsibilities change more towards management than towards coding. For example, before coming to MBA college, I didn't know what consulting was exactly. What was the exact difference between an IB and a PE? So I think more awareness about what all opportunities lie out there, better people to connect to, and of course better opportunities, better doors to, so that I can achieve them. So that was the principal aim behind appearing for CAT. It was to basically take myself up the next level.
I was a little undecided on what I'd like to pursue further. Like, I wasn't very aware of my interests. So as Soham also mentioned, it served as a right bridge between after completion of my graduation and before joining a workplace. Between the three sections, VARC, LRDI, and QA, I realized that from the first initial few mocks that I gave, that VARC was my comfortable spot. So for VARC, I didn't go out doing a separate prep altogether. I just made it a point to give at least 2 sectionals a week, and I used to read newspaper religiously, and just I read articles from various themes. For QA especially, I was very scared of QA, and my fear was, as in, not unfounded. It was very real, because I had not, when I started giving mocks, I used to score very low in QA. So my major prep was geared towards it, in the sense that I went through all the course material that was at my disposal, and I went through it twice or thrice, because I used to practice a lot. But towards the end, like in the last 2-3 weeks, I only focused on the mocks that I had already given, and the ones that I was also giving during that time, and the previous year papers for QA. For LRDI as well, I just went through all the course material, and I think analyzing all the mocks that I'd given some 30 to 35 mocks, and that was really helpful for LRDI.
Look, when you start out in your prep, at that point of time, there is an uniform amount of attention given to each section. But over the course of various mock tests, you realize that there are a few strong sections and there are a few weak sections, and that would differ for each person. So by I think 15 days before CAT, I realized that QUANT was something that came naturally to me. So I focused on building speed over there. I used to attempt sectional tests, but with 5 minutes lesser time than what was allotted to that sectional test, so that I can build up my speed over there, because I realized that QA was one of the sections wherein I had a very fair chance of completing the entire paper, and that is to attempt the entire set of questions. Unlike Harshita, I had a job, so when I used to, and that too in Bangalore, so it is notorious for its traffic. So I used to have 1.5 hour traffic jams every day while coming back from home. So during that point of time in the cab, I used to solve puzzles or go through DILR videos, go through the previous mocks that I attempted and I got them wrong. So DILR is more about introspecting and seeing where exactly you're lacking, because at the end of the day, it's logical interpretation. Understanding which questions to leave, you should have mastered it by now. If not, you should start seeing that, look, this is a trend that I see. Circular table questions may be something that is not my cup of tea. So if it comes in the final exam, I leave it. If I get time, I'll come back. But this is a principle that I live by. 15 days before your exam, your final exam, I think if you go on a mock test spree, it will only add to the exhaustion level that the mental exhaustion level that would set on to you. Because I think at this point of time, it's necessary to practice and to be on top of your game, but it's also necessary to keep your mind fresh, because at this point of time, if you get bored of giving test, then on the final day, that you won't be in the right space, in the right frame of mind to give your best performance. One should focus on giving 2 mock tests per week, but more importantly, focus on analyzing whatever mock tests they have given till now. Because I think it's more important right now to understand where one makes more number of mistakes.
When I did so, in the last 15 days, I only attempted the previous year mocks, and that too 3 mocks a week, I think, not more than that. So in total, I gave 6 mocks, and I thoroughly went through the past mocks that I had already appeared for. I feel you should definitely fix your routine in the last 15 days. Otherwise, even I've been there, and we're all night owls. We like to prepare late in the night, and that doesn't necessarily bode well if you have a morning slot. So definitely try to work on your routine and fix your sleep schedule in the last 15 days. I scored really low in a mock, and I ended up crying for 2 hours over that. I how could I score so low after, like, I had been doing well in the previous few mocks. That one mock went really bad, and it sort of pulled me down. It was really not a very good time. So I think I didn't do anything for the next day. I took a break to sort of, refresh myself and get above it. And then after like a day's break, clearing my mind, I went to watch a movie and sort of just got in the right frame of mind. And then I focused on the preparation. So that one break really helped me a lot.
I think over the course of my entire preparation, my worst 4 or 5 mocks have to be in the last 15 days. So just before the exam, everything started going haywire for me, at least. And at that point of time, at least when you are done with the mock and that number appears on the screen, I agree, it is something that nobody wants to see. Because I think before going into the exam, you always want to be, you want everything in this universe to tell you that you're doing great and you're going to ace it. But if it doesn't happen, at the end of the day, you have to still trust the process. At least this is what I believed at that point of time, was the fact that I had conviction in the fact that I gave my best. So if a mock goes wrong, I would rather take that messed up mock than a messed up final exam. I personally feel that messing up those 3 mocks was actually one of the most serendipitously negatively positive thing that happened for my entire preparation, because that kept me on my toes on the final day. And on the final day, I was on a mission to prove my streak of bad mocks wrong. The only mindset you should be in is you should be very pragmatic at that point of time in those 3 hours.
Yeah, you should maximize the number of questions that you're attempting.
Yeah, and take the 3 sections as 3 different papers. Because if you have not done well in verbal, a stellar performance in the other 2 sections can pull your CAT score from any to actually an elite CAT score. So treat the 3 exams separately, carry no baggage, and I think you will be doing just fine. Before attempting CAT also, throughout my preparation, I never bothered about looking at the sectional cutoffs. In any competitive exam, at the end of the day, your goal has to be to perform at your best and do whatever is do better than what your capability is when you start out preparing. I think you should take a day off before the exam.
Yeah, even I didn't study anything before.
Don't study anything. Especially don't attempt questions. Try not to think about CAT. I know it's very hard. But I think the shortcut to that is watch something. Make sure that on that day you're relaxed.
Going through past year papers definitely helps a lot in confidence building, and you should try to make yourself feel more confident. And even while you're attempting mocks at this point, as Soham also mentioned, just maximize your attempts. You can't be very conservative at this point. If you're empty stomach, your brain doesn't work. So definitely don't forget to have breakfast and just wear the most comfortable clothes and just feel very comfortable overall while you're attempting CAT.
Hi guys, Inside IIM has come up with an exciting new one-on-one mentorship product where you get to interact with superstar managers from different businesses, different functions. You can ask them everything around your career, your education, your future success. If you are interested, the link is in the description below. Thanks.